Dad's on deck, Horror Shop, it's where all the cool kids go. The friendly info will show you around. We reward him with the fresh souls of our customers. Shadows, t-shirts, leather tees, and so much more. Tags on deck, Horror Shop, you will never want to leave. Your friendly info will show you around. We reward him with the fresh souls of our customers. Candles, t-shirts, leather tees, and so much more. Dad's on deck, Horror Shop, you will never want to leave. Watching movies, we forget chick and the gang. Funny, strange, hysterical, or just plain bad. This weekend just got amazing. It's a watch-along weekend. Horror and sci-fi, comedy and more. We got it all this weekend. This weekend just got amazing. It's a watch-along weekend. Horror and sci-fi, comedy and more. We got it all this weekend. Howdy, gang, and welcome to yet another watch along weekend, as the song says. And if I seem to be talking a little bit louder, my left ear is stopped up again. It's been, doing that on and off since I had COVID last. So apologies if I seem like I'm screaming at everybody. But when you can't, virtually can't hear out of one ear, it makes it rough. But I'm here to do yet another watch along that you guys and gals voted on. And tonight we're doing Graduation Day. I am watching my Vinegar Syndrome Blu ray. In fact, I once again forgot to see if there was a copy online for you guys to watch. Well, you can watch it on Shudder if you have Shudder. Apparently, I don't know what in the world that is. Let's see. I was hoping maybe we could. Okay, well, this might. Hopefully, it's not, if you're watching it in the comfort of your own home, hopefully, this won't have commentary over top of it so you can hear the dialogue if you would like to. And you may hear some rumbles of thunder as well. Hopefully, this is not going to affect the watch along. Hopefully, it's not going to cause me to lose power or get fried here on camera in front of you folks. But I did put a link from YouTube to a copy of Graduation Day in case you don't have your own copy. Sorry I didn't do that beforehand. I do have my dog pool shirt on. I picked this up at, where were me and Steve? Were we at Meyer? I want to say we were at Meyer. And they had these cute little dog pool shirts. For those of you that have watched the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, we had to take Zoe to the vet for a checkup today. And I thought, why not wear my dog pool shirt? I'll represent while I'm here. So I'll go ahead and let everybody know where I'm queued up to. But if somebody comes in here later, I can, give you a timestamp. I would be happy to do so. I'm about 7 seconds in on my Blu-ray. There's just a black screen before the movie starts. And like I said, if you come in later after we've already gotten started and you want to request a timestamp, that is perfectly fine. If anybody wants to join me on this watch along, barring it not being a few seconds before the movie ends, you're welcome to. Just let me know so I can get you the link, the StreamYard link, to come join me live on this watch along. I'm also finishing up my dinner, so hopefully you guys and gals will permit me to do that. But before we get started with the movie, and to also give y'all time to get queued up for those of you that are going to be watching along, those of you that are my friend on Facebook may have noticed that I've been talking about making a Poe plushie. And I made my own pattern. I'm just so proud of myself. I finalized the pattern today and put it on cardstock so it would be more permanent than just the plain printer paper that I had last night. So I've got all the pieces, front and back pieces, all done. And I mean, he's not going to look exactly like the picture here, but hopefully he'll look pretty close. And I've got a few extra things along the way. I'm going to use some like pipe cleaners to give him some little eyebrows to make him have a little bit of an expression. I have, for those of you that are interested in this kind of stuff, was able to get some red safety eyes. I'm going to be painting a black pupil on those, so that he will have those. I picked up a few things at the Dollar Tree today. And one of the things I picked up was this hairband. Hopefully y'all can see that it's green. And I was looking at it and I was like, wouldn't it be cool if I took just part of this, the part that actually goes down over your head, and kind of folded it and sewed it? This would make some pretty cool horns for Poe. So I'm going to try that. And I also have these little pink, they're little noses, but I'm going to actually use them as his nostrils. So I've got 2 of them laid over here. Just for any of you guys and gals that, I hope I didn't lay on anything. Steve did me a favor. I got a metal stamp kit that I thought was going to have bigger letters. Turns out, if I want to stamp the letters on a metal tag that says Poe, I'm going to have to get some bigger ones because the ones that came with the kit are itty bitty. But Steve is a lot neater handwriting. He has neater handwriting than I do. So I asked him if he would take the enamel paint pen that came with the kit and write Poe on here, because this is just going to be my personal Poe. And just to see, if I can get the process down for making the Poe plushie. And then after that, once I perfect my process, then I will go through, how much did I spend on materials, how much, is my time worth, I think. And then that way I'll be able to come up with a price tag to attach these plushies. And as I do more and more of them, I'm going to try to expand. Those of you that saw on Facebook, RJ, my new Movie Munchies monster, friendly monster mascot for Movie Munchies. I want to make a plushie of him. And then hopefully I can start making some horror plushies, maybe some Freddy Krueger, some Jason Voorhees, a Pinhead, whatever you would like. But I'm going to give myself some time to kind of perfect my process before I do that. I kind of just wanted to show off what I had done so far. And the material, I think I'm going to be using Minky material. Again, this may not be of interest to anybody other than people that are thinking about getting into plushies. But this is Minky material, and this is a sage green. And it's also got the little dots on it. And I thought that might be kind of cool for my first Poe plushie, to do it in this material. And the other thing that I didn't know about this that is going to work great, because it kind of leaves you, if you make an error and don't cut enough for the particular pattern piece, it stretches horizontally. This stuff stretches, so I think it's going to make it easier for me to stretch that fabric around from the front piece to the back piece and be able to get those sewn. I've also got some fiber fill to stuff him with. The only thing I did not get in today that I was supposed to get in was the red leather dog collar, that I'm going to be putting the Poe name tag on. It got delayed by Amazon, and so it's supposed to be here tomorrow. And I probably should get on with this watch along because I'm losing people left and right. Evidently, they're not interested in me making the Poe plushie. But hopefully, once I get one done and I can actually show people what it looks like, maybe there will be some interest in people buying them. But the watch along for tomorrow night, also starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, will be April Fool's Day. I just, so you know ahead of time, I'm going to be using the Screen Factory Blu-ray of April Fool's Day. I will try to remember to try to find a link for you guys and gals that might be wanting to watch along with me. Good job on y'all getting started for the next group of watch-alongs, which won't be this coming weekend, but will be the weekend after, because I'm doing them every other weekend. So make sure you get in on that. If you have any interest in having a say in what the watch-along pick is for the next weekend that I do these. I think there might be a tie with one of them, like just a two-way tie, not a three-way tie. But I'm hoping that we can start getting more people involved in these watch-alongs, because y'all are voting the hell out of them whenever the voting's going on. But I'm not having a lot of people come in live, which is the whole purpose of this. These things are a lot more fun live if we can have more people in here, more people in the chat, more people interacting with each other, interacting with me, more people, in general watching the movie. Oh, sorry. I don't want to choke to death on here. Excuse me. There was some chicken in this chicken and dumpling soup. A little piece just went down my throat. So sorry, gang. For anybody that is watching. Now I'm going to be having that tickle. Oh, my goodness. That's what I get for talking and eating at the same time, because chances of that happening are rather large. I don't want this whole watch along to be me coughing. Oh, goodness gracious. That another person came in when they probably thought, hey, we're going to see the Evil Dead chick die on camera. That would be exciting, wouldn't it? But, oh my goodness, so sorry. Okay. But I'm going to be working on Poe tonight. I don't know if I will get him all done, but I'm going to be trying my best to work on him and see how much of it I can get done. I may get him all done except his collar. We'll just see. Oh, now my throat is going to be just completely ruined. And this ear, I just don't know. Sometimes it feels like just there's a cork getting ready to pop out of it. It's just miserable, folks, to have. One time I had both of my ears stopped up, and that wasn't good either. Oh, my goodness. Okay. So I was trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to talk about before we got started with this movie. Oh, since this is a live stream, you can give a $5 or more super chat and get to pick any movie of your choosing for me to do a review on during an upcoming episode of Movie Roulette. So that is good and valid, even when I'm doing a watch along, because those are live streams. So if you've been just itching for me to do a review of a movie that you would like to see me do a review over, please feel free. Again, that's valid if you give a $5 or more super chat during the live stream. Steve and I have a Childhood Nightmares up, where we talked about the original Salem's Lot miniseries. So be sure to check that out. That was a pre-recorded video. I'm going to try my diligent best to get that Soup and Jallows up that I've been teasing y'all with for a little bit and haven't gotten it up there yet. I think I'm going to be restructuring the Soup and Jallows so it's a little bit easier for me to put them together. So hopefully I can get them out faster to you guys and gals. But I think that is it, other than I've still got the promotions going on the Deadites on Deck horror shop at deaditesondeck.com. Tell them Poe sent you. No, that's not part of the web address. That's just a tagline. And I've got t-shirts and I've got hats and I got tote bags and mouse pads and blended teas, all kinds of good stuff on the site. So be sure to hop on over to deaditesondeck.com. I got a couple of promotions going on. You can buy one candle, get one free using the promo code CandleCraze25 at checkout. I have a second promo that's going on. If you spend $30 or more and use the promo code SlasherSpring25, you can get $10 off of your order of $30 or more. So, without further ado, I think we're going to go ahead and get started with Graduation Day. And again, I am 7 seconds in on the Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray. There's just a black screen before the movie starts. So we're going to go ahead and do the countdown and get started with this movie. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Press play. And we are off and running. And I may not have any subtitles, but I have seen this movie many, many times, so I'm pretty familiar with the dialogue. So we're seeing some competition going on. Me personally, I never did get that into, sports or anything when I was in high school. I could have cared less, but, some people, that's their thing. So we just saw Christopher George there. He is the track coach. And this movie is mainly going to center on the track team. And the girl we saw there is Laura Ramstead. And she's going to become an integral part of this movie. And we're going to see why here in just a few minutes. I'm sorry, gang. And also, Linnea Quigley is in this movie as Dolores. But there might be a little confusion about the character of Dolores because it started out with another girl playing Dolores. And I believe this girl was the same girl who played Annie in Bloody Birthday, the girl that is making out with her boyfriend in a grave, and they end up getting killed. But she shows her breast in Bloody Birthday, but evidently didn't want to get topless in Graduation Day. And so essentially they were like, you're out. And they brought Linnea Quigley in, which, God bless Linnea Quigley. I love Linnea Quigley. I met her at a convention a few years ago. She's a very sweet, nice person. I interviewed her from my fanzine. And again, she was very nice and sweet and all that. And I hold no ill will towards her. But anybody that has seen Linnea Quigley in the many horror films that she's been in over the years, she has no problem getting naked. So she's a good horror actor. She's a fantastic horror actress. She's a very sweet person if you get to meet her. If you've never gotten to meet her and she shows up at a convention near you, definitely go up and meet her. But she doesn't have a problem showing any skin. And I think that is exactly what they needed for, Graduation Day and many other films. So we're seeing Laura. She's running. The coaches said, move your ass, Laura. Don't let me down, Laura. 30 seconds, Laura. And they're not paying any attention. They're all cheering because they did good. And something is wrong with Laura. She is definitely not acting right. And there's Linnea Quigley there. We saw her real quick. So that's Laura's boyfriend, Kevin, who's running to her. Everybody's checking up on her. They're not sure what's happened. But it's apparently not good because Laura's not moving. And if I'm remembering correctly, I believe Laura had a brain hemorrhage, aneurysm, whatever you want to call it. And it was just a freak thing that happened. But like Prom Night, which I think this is similar to Prom Night in that young Robin Hammond is accidentally killed uh, when she's a kid by some more popular kids who accidentally cause her to fall out a window in an old building. And someone knows that this occurred and they blame them for the death. Even though they didn't push her out the window, they were playing a game and called the killers are coming or the killer. It's like hide and seek. And they're scaring Robin and they cause her to fall out a window. They back her up to a window. She falls out. It's an old building. Um, but then when these little kids grow up and it's their senior prom, somebody's planning on killing them off. So someone's going to blame Laura Ramsted's death on who? Well, the track team and Coach Michaels, played by Christopher George. That's who's gonna, have the blame placed on them. So we're gonna shortly see bad things start to happen to the track team, and this is Laura's sister Anne, who has come home for graduation and for I guess the funeral of her sister. And she's one of the big red herrings in the film because she saw somebody from the track team and she forces this guy that she's caught a ride with, who is a little bit lecherous. Oh, heck, he's a whole lot lecherous. But, and she's looking very sternly towards this girl. And I'm sorry I keep messing with my ear, but I'm really trying to get it unstopped. Because it's basically been blocked all day long. And you see, it's sort of, I wouldn't really call this a giallo, but it's got giallo elements in it. You've got someone with a black glove chasing someone. They're also using the stopwatch, which, remember, Laura died within 30 seconds. So that's what the killer is planning on doing, to kill members of the track team within 30 seconds, just like Laura died. Or the time frame in which Laura died. So here we go. And this is our first, unless you count Laura's death, this is our first actual kill of the film. And Steve thinks I'm silly, but when they show the girl's body here, I always thought this looked like a mannequin. See how stiff it is? And then we go into the graduation stuff. They're practicing for graduation. Signing yearbooks. I mean, anybody that's graduated remembers all this stuff. Okay, so you saw Linnea Quigley at the beginning of the movie. This goes to show that they filmed things out of order, obviously. But the blonde there is obviously not Linnea Quigley. Linnea Quigley is nowhere to be seen here. Instead, we have this other blonde girl with the number 46 on her jersey. That is the original Dolores. This is the girl that wouldn't pop her top, that had no problem showing her breast and bloody birthday, evidently. So everybody's giving Coach Michaels a really hard time. So Paula evidently was the girl that just got killed, and she hasn't showed up for the track team picture. And one of the team members said, so, how many of us are supposed to survive? He's smarting off to Coach Michaels, and there's nearly an altercation. So Anne has arrived home, and we're going to see that apparently she has a stepfather. I think he may be Laura's dad, but he's not Anne's dad. And the two don't like each other. In fact, I think it would be safe to say that Anne hates her stepfather. I mean, he's a drunk and he's, mean to her mother. So I believe they've already had Laura's funeral. Apparently, Anne was late getting in because she is in the military. So she's going to have to stay in her dead sister's room because her stepfather is using her own bedroom, her old bedroom. Gang, I'm going to take myself out. It doesn't look like there's anybody in here right now, but I'm going to take myself out real quick and I will be right back. Okay, gang, I'm back. I don't think there was anybody that popped in here. Maybe there was. Um, there was some more thunder while I was taking a bathroom break. So, um, so we're seeing another member of the track team here that has run into Anne. Um, Anne acts very strange here, which makes her look even more suspicious. And she tells this girl, "You have lovely eyes. My sister had lovely eyes. She's dead now." It's so flat and deadpan and weird. So this is evidently the music teacher in his leisure suit here. Um, we're going to see a very funny scene upcoming with him and Linnea Quigley, or I think it's funny. Who I don't think we'll see the old Dolores anymore within this movie. So here is the principal, and he's tired. He's tired of dealing with these kids. He thinks basically they're a bunch of overgrown brats. And truth be told, he probably has to deal with this every year. But we were all seniors once, weren't we? And I don't mean seniors as in senior citizens. I'm headed that way now, but um, we were all once pretty much seniors in high school. And, I think all of us have probably been told basically the same thing that he's telling these seniors right now. This is not for me, this is for you. So don't screw it up. So they're singing Anne, and I don't think that they realized at first that she was Laura's sister. This movie also has the distinction of having Vanna White before she was Vanna White and was turning the letters, right? So I'm going to try to point her out to you guys and gals. So the principal's going to introduce Anne to everybody. So we were all that young once, right? And got excited by getting, most of the afternoon off from school or whatever. I don't think we got to do that even, when we were practicing for graduation. I always thought this scene was funny because that redhead over there is just, it just looks like she's just moving her mouth, not talking about anything. Um, so Kevin, Laura's boyfriend, is wanting Anne to come visit him. He lives with his grandmother, who must be, suffering from dementia, as we'll see here shortly. I thought the rain was going to stop tomorrow, but apparently we're going to have more rain tomorrow. I told Steve, I said, we're going to have to build a damn ark if this rain keeps up. I just want things to dry up a little bit. I may regret this, saying this later on in the dog days of summer. But after all this rain, I don't care if we have a drop of rain for the rest of the summer. I'm just sick to death of rain and storms and all that. Bless you people that are popping in and out of here, but stay a while, watch the movie with me for a while. See, that person pop back out again. Of course, some people could be having internet issues as well. This weather sure hasn't been friendly to people's internet, their power, all those things. So there's Kevin's grandmother. So Kevin basically tells you, grandma doesn't even know you're here. I always thought that was funny. What a picture for somebody to have, because it looks like she was in her death throes there. So apparently this was something that Anne was going to give to Laura, and now she's giving it to Kevin, who's puts it on Laura's picture. So this might be where Vanna White shows up. I could be wrong, but I was thinking this was. So we can see that because this was the early 80s, we still got carryovers in fashion from the 70s. So you saw those high, the real blocky sandals with the blocky heel, the platform heels, I guess is what they call them. And I'm not saying I don't like those. I'm just saying you can see that the carryover of the 70s fashion was still quite prevalent. So we saw a black glove turn the light off. We think, oh gosh, she's going to get killed here. So we see somebody that appears to be in a fencing outfit. And there's where Vanna White shows up. Vanna White is not the one with the crimped hair, but the other girl, the one that's got the high waisted top on so you can see her midriff there. That is Miss Vanna White before she was the Vanna White. So sorry, folks. And of course, for those of you that, I realize it is the weekend and there might be other things going on. The great thing is you can always watch these on the replay if you would like. These things are just always more fun if I could, have someone to interact with in the chat or live on the stream with me or people commenting on the movie. So this is a scene where I think Christopher George is probably at his most sleazy right here. Because if you'll watch when the girl is doing her routine on the bar and stuff, her gymnastics routine, um, Coach Michaels seems to be getting off on this in a sexual manner. And even the photographer that's there to take pictures of the gymnast here is uncomfortable. And so I think that is maybe the filmmaker's way of casting suspicion on Coach Michaels. Um, and this is weird the way they do the flashbacks. I mean, this girl didn't even see Paula. She definitely didn't see Paula get killed. She didn't see uh, anything other than the stuff about her and Anne talking was something she remembered. But the stuff that happened to Paula, she doesn't remember that. She doesn't even know, at that point in time, she didn't know what happened to Paula. She just didn't show up for the track photo. So you see the photographer looking at him, and Coach Michaels is licking his lips kind of seductively, and it's a very uncomfortable scene. So we're seeing that somebody is Xing off the members of the track team as they're Dispatch. So we see that Paula's face was X'd out of the picture. And now we're seeing that the girl, the gymnast, is getting X'd out. So we're led to believe that she's more than likely going to be the next one to go. Because it appeared that the killer was trying to get her earlier and her friends intervened. I'm not sure why she's shaving her legs after doing her routine, but maybe she didn't have time before. And she tells the coach to sit on that razor and rotate, basically. um, so they've got a fencing sword. You know, I guess if she took off running like any normal person would, then there wouldn't be a movie. She just basically stood there and, oh, the sword went right through her neck. So that's 2 down. So here's this goofy scene with the music teacher. And these girls could not be in love with this guy. Probably just trying to get a good grade, which is what Dolores is trying to do as well. She doesn't want to have to, do summer school or anything like that to be able to graduate. So here comes Miss Linnea Quigley. Now she's full on playing Dolores, no more the other girl. So for you guys that are fans of Linnea Quigley and her talents there, you are going to get to see those talents in all their glory here very shortly. So she's going to go lock the door because he's, like, well, what if somebody comes in? There we go. So here we have Blondie, who apparently has a relationship with the principal, who I guess he likes Blondie, but he kind of uses her to get things done for him as well. So he's giving her a whole bunch more work to do. I know that feeling. Yeah, Mr. Guglioni. I forgot his name. So they even cast suspicion on the principal. I think here he's got a knife. He's, you know, granted he's cutting this apple, but you can see he's got a whole heck of a lot of knives he's evidently collected from students. So evidently Dolores has left, and the music teacher is trying to practice, but he keeps hearing something, so he's going to go check it out. You might be thinking, well, is he going to get killed off? You know, is he going to go down the boiler room and meet Freddy Krueger? Or I'm just kidding. Um, but it could be possible that the killer wants to kill other people besides members of the track team. So he is indeed going down to the boiler room. So me making Freddy jokes wasn't that bad, was it? So at this point in time, as a watcher of this movie, I was pretty sure that this was not the killer. The killer's not going to waste time playing back a tape of him and Dolores carrying on. Sorry, gang. Don't mean to keep yawning. So he finds the tape. So now we're seeing Dolores. And this guy is supposedly her boyfriend, but they have a very open relationship in that they can have sex with other people if they want to. So evidently he has had sex with somebody that's Dolores' best friend. So she don't waste no time. And then the cop shows up. And they're smoking pot, so that's not good. And of course, they make jokes about him. So he basically tells him, if I catch y'all smoking grass on campus one more time, your ass is grass, basically. Your ass is mine. And they laugh at him. They're not scared of this guy. And what's he going to do? He's going to get out a joint and light up too. So I think Anne is trying to look up Coach Michaels. Because I think she wants to ask him, what exactly did you do to my sister? I think she does place a lot of blame on the coach for her sister dying, as do a lot of people in this film. And evidently, Coach Michaels is also a woodworking teacher or industrial arts teacher. I think it was called industrial arts when I was in school. So she didn't even do anything to the stuff, but Coach Michaels comes in, he's pissed off, thinking she's touched the equipment. So Anne is telling him, you pushed her and you killed her. And he said, I push all the kids. I push all my kids on the track team. But he's treating them as if they are machines, just like the machines in shop class. And this actress playing Anne is Patch McKenzie. And I was thinking that she was in some other stuff, but it escapes me right now what she was in other than this. So this guy is not only a member of the track team, but apparently he's a member of the football team too. I mean, I guess he's practicing football moves, but it looks like he's dancing and stuff there. So there's those girls again. Vanna White and the other girl. So they caused him to lose his football in the bushes, and someone is attaching something very sharp to that football. Thinking it's probably another fencing sword. So he's seeing the person. He said, hey, give me my ball. He can see him holding it. He's like, I want my ball back. And they throw it. And it's one of those things where I'm sure he could see the fencing sword coming towards him, but there wasn't really anything he could do about it. So we get this extra thing where we think he's already dead, and then he raises up and blood runs out of his mouth. So we've got 4 people X'd off. Now, of course, I didn't graduate till 1994. This is like 1981. Um, And I don't know if, maybe some of you guys and gals that graduated around this time, was this something that people did, played harmonicas and guitars and sang? Because I don't ever remember anybody doing anything like that by 1994 when I graduated. I'm not saying it's weird or anything. I just saying I don't remember. So they had to throw in a pot reference too. I'd forgotten there's a Beatles painting back there. So we can see that this version of Dolores is a little more, it seems that she's a little more sympathetic towards Coach Michael. She gave him a quick peck on the cheek there, while the original Dolores was really pissed off at him earlier. McGregor, the cop here, seems to be pissed off at everybody. Okay, so here is the band that's playing at the roller rink. That is Felony. That is an actual real band. There were a few real musicians that showed up in various horror movies over the years. 4 out of 5 Doctors was one that showed up in House on Sorority Row, which is one of the upcoming watch along choices. And it was in the lead, I believe, but I think there's a tie between that one and one of the other ones. I could be wrong. I could be thinking about the other one. I love Linnea Quigley's outfit here, the long skirt and the top. And I believe she's got boots on. I don't know. I just like those type of outfits. But we're seeing a lot of quick shots of Felony here. People had those satin jackets back then. There's a bug back here that's attracted to the light. That's kind of swarming around my head, which I don't like. But you do what you gotta do. But I don't know if I said this earlier, but my light that I had above my desk went out or was going out, and so it's rather dark at my desk. So Steve gave me his, and he said he would buy himself another one. Now, some people might say, well, you can change the lights out, but these particular ones, I don't know how you're going to change the light out. But I never knew of them having live bands at roller rinks back in the day either, but perhaps that was a thing. So we're seeing Dolores and her, her pseudo boyfriend again. And they're thinking about, having a good time here out in this secluded wooded area. Which I never heard really of roller rinks being, it looks like it's out in a secluded area. They were that close to the woods. And there was a goof right there. Because we're seeing Linnea Quigley or Dolores and her boyfriend out in the woods, but yet we saw them walk by in the roller rink at the same time. So hopefully y'all caught that little goof. So the boyfriend's got to go take a pee. Doesn't that always happen? And she's laying there waiting for him. And uh-oh. There went his head. Off with his head there. That was one of the more spectacular kills in this movie. Most of them were pretty standard with the fencing sword stabbing people, but so she's kind of give up on him coming back and she's going to go look for him. Oh no. Well, she found his head anyway. Uh-oh, now the killer's after her. And you can see the name of the band back there. I didn't notice that before. I believe on the keyboard or the piano it says Felony. And I believe the song they're singing is Gangsta Rock. Or Gangster Rock, however you want to say it. Uh-oh. You can pretty much usually guarantee that if Linnea Quigley is in a horror movie, then she's going to get killed off. And I think they must have been shooting day for night, or the sun was getting ready to come up, one of the two. In this shot especially. And she's flashing some boobage there too. I think there was a little goop there. Sometimes her top was open, and other times it looked closed. So we're seeing, the slashing of the sword, the fencing sword, and that death wasn't as spectacular as some of Linnea Quigley's deaths in other horror movies, but like I say, or like I said earlier, most of the time when Linnea Quigley is in a horror movie, she's going to meet her end at some point in time. Some of the deaths more spectacular in other movies than in this one, but we got another death from Miss Linnea Quigley on screen. After, you guys getting to ogle her bare breast in a couple of scenes. Of course, you gotta have that. And again, this is no slight on Linnea Quigley. By this point in time, Linnea Quigley knew exactly what she was getting into, and she's a very accomplished actress as a horror actress. Um, and like I said, I have great respect for her. She was a very, very sweet and nice person. So we are already, I know I say this with a lot of these, but a lot of these early horror movies, especially slasher movies in particular, they didn't feel the need to make them nearly as long as a lot of slashers that come out now, or a lot of movies in general now. So we're an hour and 4 minutes into an hour and 36-minute film. Um, so there's not a lot of baggage with these films, which I like. These slasher films from the uh, mid to late 70s, early 80s, um, they're what I refer to as popcorn movies. And not a lot of, as Joe Bob says, not a lot of plot to get in the way. And you don't need it. These are fun little time waster popcorn movies. You don't need an elaborate plot. It doesn't need to be very long. Um, it's okay if there is bad acting in it. Because truth be told, how many of us are really looking at the acting chops? I'm not. Some of these movies are the acting's a little worse in some of them than others. In some cases, it's almost criminal how bad the acting is. But I think the acting is fine in this one. Um, there might be a little bit of overacting. So the class looks really small there, the graduating class. So here we got the music teacher flirting with one of the girls again. So what's interesting here is you saw McGregor, the cop, but this is the first you're actually seeing a detective, someone that's actually investigating. Whereas a movie like Pieces, where Christopher George actually played like a lieutenant, um, he shows up a lot earlier with his partner in the film. We're an hour and 7 minutes into this before a detective even shows up to investigate. You just had a couple of scenes with McGregor just kind of moodily walking around the campus, trying to catch kids smoking pot or something. So then McGregor shows up again. It's like McGregor is just completely useless in this, and he doesn't have his badge on. The detectives wanting to know why he doesn't have his badge on. I didn't notice that little girl before. There's a little girl on the left of the screen. So apparently, there's still members of the track team hanging around. So he's going to do a pole vault. And if you've got your sound on, you've heard this guy screaming. We're going to find out why, because ouch, somebody has put a bunch of very sharp spikes in the pole vault pit or whatever you want to call it. So we're seeing Coach Michaels in his wood shop um, area. And I think that either they have fired Coach Michaels or they're going to suspend him. Um, and he's looking a little worse for wear here. So lieutenant or detective, whatever he is paying Coach Michaels a little visit. And I think the detective is suspicious of Coach Michaels at this point. And as I'm looking at this, I can't confirm that Christopher George was maybe sick this day, but he doesn't look like he feels good. He looks sort of pale, maybe like he might have flu or something. And I know that there have been some oh, wait a minute, there's a stopwatch and black gloves. So, yeah, apparently Coach Michaels either is going to quit because he feels like he can't be a good coach or he has gotten fired. So there's Vanna White again. Vanna White actually showed up in more scenes than I realized. So you notice there's a big bloody stain on that one locker. And remember that girl that got killed earlier, the one that was shaving her legs? Where is she at? I wonder. Oh, no, there she is. When does she have started stinking by now? I would think that. But horror movies are never known for their logic, okay? So they see Coach Michaels, they flip out because they think, oh God, he must have killed her. And then he has to pull his sword out like that, which makes it even worse. You're making yourself look more suspicious, Coach Michaels. And then Kevin shows up, apparently to save the day. And then girls go running out screaming, that Coach Michaels is a murderer. Ann sees all the ruckus. And Kevin starts to fight with Coach Michaels. And then the detective and McGregor show up. But I don't think they're going to be much help. What do y'all think? So Kevin is saying it was Coach Michaels all along. He was killing everybody. So the detective wants to know who all these people are, and Ann says they're members of the track team. But of course, Coach Michaels is not doing himself any favors by panicking and running away. And I'm thinking perhaps this is supposed to be California. We could see the mountains in the background. Oh, so Coach Michaels was lying in wait for Kevin to come, and they're fighting again. And I think Kevin acts very peculiar right here and overacting all over the place. I think that actor playing Kevin is E. Danny Murphy or Danny E. Murphy. I think it's E. Danny Murphy. Oh, and Coach Michaels found the football player. And Kevin was like, gee, Coach, you left dead bodies all over the place. So he's saying you killed Laura, you all did. So, something very peculiar is happening here. We're starting to discover it wasn't Coach Michaels that killed everybody. We're finding out Kevin did it because he said, the coach and everybody else on the track team killed his Laura. And he's repeating back to Coach Michaels, just a little bit more, Laura. 30 seconds, Laura. And he says, my whole life was changed in just 30 seconds. And this type of scene has been repeated in a lot of these slasher films because a lot of these were uh, revenge scenarios where someone met an untimely death, and people that really, in the grand scheme of things, had no part in it. It was just something that happened, but oh no, they're going to kill Coach Michaels. So now they think everything's okay. Coach Michaels was killing everybody. So he's dead now, so everything's going to be okay, right? But we as the audience know better because Kevin just admitted to Coach Michaels that he killed everybody. So the killer is still alive, very much alive right now. So Anne has come to ask Blondie for Laura's trophy. And Blondie says, well, Kevin come picked it up. And even though Anne thinks this is very odd, she's, going to try to find Kevin so she can ask him about it. So once again, Anne makes her way to Kevin's grandmother's house. This is probably actually the slowest part of the whole movie is Anne climbing the stairs. And there's really no payoff to her climbing these stairs. You know, it's not like a scene in Psycho where we had that great scene of Arbogast climbing the stairs and Mrs. Bates coming out and attacking him. Um, there's no payoff to her climbing the steps. Oh no. So now we get the payoff because apparently Kevin has been keeping Laura's corpse in his bedroom. dressed in her graduation cap and gown. And Kevin comes up behind her, covers her mouth, and says, Laura's sleeping. Lord only knows what he's been doing with that corpse. So Ann sees her chance and pushes Kevin away. And then Kevin just completely loses and said, "You want to hurt my Laura too. And so I've got to take you out." He does have a Vampirella poster over there. So it appears here, and Anne, for supposedly a military person, was very clumsy right there, but very clumsily caused Kevin and Laura's corpse to fall out the window. It appears that Kevin may be deceased now, but don't bet on it, okay? Oh, he's bringing Laura back into the house. So Anne's like, "I'm getting the hell out of here. This guy's crazy." And you see the shots of Anne running interspersed with Laura running from the beginning of the film. I'm not sure why Anne runs way out there. I don't know if she's trying to get back to the school to maybe hope that the uh maybe the cop and the detective are still there or something. I don't know. Or maybe where Kevin lives is not very far from the school. Oh no, he's back again. She just can't get rid of this guy. So she's apparently using some military or moves she learned in the military right there. But again, it looks very clumsy and forced. Evidently, Patch McKenzie, she's not a stunt woman, or I don't think she is, or ever was. That was kind of clumsy too on Kevin's part. I don't know what he was hoping to achieve there. And that, okay, that's a funny scene there because you'll notice the head there was the original Dolores and not Linnea Quigley. So I guess they just threw that in at the end and was hoping that people wouldn't notice, right? Because we don't ever see a head that looks like Linnea Quigley's. And so she pushed Kevin, and he went back against the guy that had all the spikes in him that was doing the pole vault. This is a kind of cool scene here because he's still trying to move forward, but he drops the knife, grabs his chest, and then blood comes out of his mouth. Very spectacularly there. Well, surely he's dead now, right? Surely. So now Anne is back at her mom's home, and she is packing up her things because apparently she's going to be leaving in the morning. All of that, and I don't think she has one speck of blood on her. So she's sleeping. This scene coming up is still kind of creepy, even though it doesn't uh, turn out exactly how you think it's going to be. Oh no. Did Kevin come back again? He's not dead. And then her mother turns on the light, and it's her stepfather, and he's drunk, and he's holding a bottle. That house, though, it looks like somebody's just got some paper up on the wall. Like maybe they're doing painting or something. I don't know if we were supposed to notice that or not. So Anne is leaving. She's back in her military clothes, and she's getting into the taxi. She's waving to her mother. So we don't get another, that was our final scare. But it wasn't actually Kevin that came back. There was no scene where he appeared dead and then all of a sudden he raised up or his eye opened or anything like that. This is one of the few slasher films where it doesn't appear that somebody was trying to set up for a sequel. Some, look like they were set up for a sequel and didn't ever have one. Um, but this one didn't even try that, which was probably a good choice. Um, and we have officially reached the end of graduation day. I'm a little disappointed that a lot more people didn't show up, but I don't know what other people had going on. But I'm hoping that these watch alongs, because you guys and gals are out there picking the movies. I'm giving you choices, but you're actually picking the movies by a poll. So it was my hope that if you were picking movies that you thought you would like, then people would want to come in here. But again, I don't know what's going on with people. There may be other streams that are going on at the same time that you don't want to have to make a choice on. That you're. And I'm not asking anybody to be loyal to me or anything, but your loyalties may lie elsewhere, and that's fine as well. Um, but hopefully, as I try this new thing with the watch alongs, hopefully these will become more popular, at least as popular as they were, a year or so ago. You do get the shot of the 30-second thing before the movie's over, and then if you're watching the Vinegar Syndrome version, you get the Vinegar Syndrome logo here. Okay, so we have officially reached the entire end, and there's my husband. How long you been here, Steve? I don't know if he's watching on his laptop or not, so I don't know if he can comment. So um, that was 3 minutes ago that he had the little face of the little blue. It always looks like the Cookie Monster to me. Um, but Steve, I'm glad you're in here, hon. But I guess since nobody else appears to be in here right now, um, I am probably going to call it a night. I've been on here almost a total of 2 hours. And so I want to thank those of you that did pop in and out tonight. I want to thank people in advance that will watch this on the replay. Again, I hope that these become more popular. I mean, if they don't, I'll probably continue to do them regardless. Um, but I really wanted these things to be as successful as they used to be. And maybe watch alongs ain't a thing for people anymore. Maybe they're not interested in it. I know people have told me that reaction videos seem to be popular, but with a reaction video, you can't really show the movie, or you can't show much of the movie. And I haven't had any experience with reaction videos, and so I don't know even how to set one of those up. If that's something that you guys and gals will be interested in seeing me react to a trailer or something, um, let me know, and I'll see what I can do. I know that Candace said that reaction videos were popular too. Um, Apparently, people must be liking the short form stuff. I've heard that the shorts are more popular. Reaction videos are more popular. Um, Maybe it's the long form stuff that people just aren't as interested in anymore. I'm not really sure. If I figure it out, I'll let somebody know. But I am going to call it a night. I've got a few things to do before I wind down completely for tonight. But I want to thank those of you that popped in and out. Um, and I wanted to thank Steve for popping in here. And he might have been the one keeping me company, that one person that was showing up there during the last quarter of the film. Whoever it was, I appreciate it. Again, those of you that will watch this on the replay, I appreciate that as well. And keep in mind that tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll be having a watch along for April Fool's Day from 1986. And with all that being said, I'm off like a dirty shirt. This shirt ain't dirty, but I'm off like one. And I want to remind everybody, as I always do before I get off of here for the night, to be kind to one another and blaze that trail. Have a fantastic rest of your Saturday night, folks. I hope we're going to dry out soon where I'm at, but apparently it's going to rain all day tomorrow, too. I don't know when it's going to quit raining. I've never seen so much rain, I don't think, in my entire life. I said, I'm going to have to build an ark if this keeps up. But in any event, I am out of here, but I'll see everybody next time.